Well, this video is mainly about charging electric cars in London, not specifically about the i3, but certainly charging electric cars in general. And I'm afraid to say the charging on street in London is in a pretty sorry state. The Transport for London, who operate London's transport infrastructure, have an outsourced contract to provide charging points around London, and the maintenance of these charging points has not been great. Things are improving, but they're not great, and it's as likely you find a charging point out of action that it is you find one in action in London. But if you go to Westminster, things are in pretty good shape, and some of the outer London boroughs are pretty good as well, and things are improving, so it's hopefully just a temporary glitch. What I've highlighted is some of the lack of ergonomics of some of the charging stations as well. They're quite difficult to use, and yeah, you get used to it, but I think these things should be foolproof. The Teslas are foolproof. All you do with a Tesla supercharger is park your car, plug it in, the car automatically authenticates to the charge port. That's the end of it. That's all you have to do. With the Source London and other charger systems, you have to hold an RFID card. It's critical the order that you do it in, and it can be challenging. Anyway, not to put a negative slant on this, it's supposed to be positive and supposed to be informative to people who are the influencers and policymakers to try and make better informed decisions of what us electronauts need. I hope you enjoy the video. Well, we're just entering the lakeside service area near the Dartford Bridge on the north side in Essex. And at Lakeside they have Ecotricity, CHAdeMO, CCS and AC chargers, which are just ahead of us. The chargers at the motorway service areas are normally located near to the disabled bays and very close to the entrance of the service area. And here we are. The CCS chargers needed for the BMW i3 are always the right hand side ones, and what you get on one of the posts is you get CHAdeMO and CCS. On the other post you get CHAdeMO and three-phase AC up to I think it's 43 kilowatts they give you. I'll just reverse in, get as close as possible till the red light comes on. Now let's go and charge. Well, here we are at the charger. It's a CCS charger on this side of Ecotricity, and this is where the collection of cards come out. The one we need for Ecotricity are the electric highway cards, which are available, I think it's £10 you pay, it might even be free, I can't remember, but that's just send off the web form to Ecotricity. So coming up to the charger, there's the charger here has been left in a previous state, so we have to just say OK on that and then go back to the main welcome screen. So we've got two options. DC CHAdeMO is at the top, and the CCS with the two extra prongs is the one we want that's at the bottom. So very start by pressing the button to say we want DC, and it's asking for authentication from the card. It's beeped, the card goes back in the pocket, and it's identifying our card. It's now saying connect your vehicle and validate. So at this point we need to connect the vehicle. So nice long cables on these Ecotricity chargers. Open the charge port on the car, pull off the two plastic covers. I try and hang them on a little hook so they don't bang against the paintwork. I don't always get it right, but we do our best. Plug the charge cable in, and then we go back to the charger. So we now have to say yes, we've done that operation, and then we can see that the controller area network, or CAN bus, is communicating with the car's CAN bus. And while we synchronise, communication started. It's checking for earth isolation, doing a pre-charge to make sure everything is okay, And now we start charging, and we can see the current slowly increases. Start at 4 amps, 6 amps, and it'll actually get up to about 110 amps, which is roughly 45 kilowatts for the charger. We're up to 48 amps. Now actually this car is only 25% depleted on the battery. It's got 3/4 of the battery on it, so there's plenty of charge, so it may not quite get to the full 110 amps at this stage. These chargers will fully charge a completely depleted battery on the i3 to full in about 45 minutes. You get to about 80% in about 25 minutes. So the last 20 minutes is really the slowest bit as the battery nears its full charge. So in the car we can see on the dashboard display that the car is charging, and you can see the amount of mileage that's been put into the car so far. We've got 62 miles displayed as a range, and 82 miles would be the range at full charge. Now we also see the time taken to full charge, so it's actually saying 14:46 as time for full charge. Now it's 12:26 now, and the simple answer is it's not going to take that long to charge at this rate. One little bug in the i3 software is that the charge time is only accurate up to the internal charger capability, so it's assuming the car's charging at 7 kilowatts rather than 46 kilowatts. So that number, although accurate when using the internal AC charger in the car, is not accurate when you use the DC charger. So, time for a cup of coffee. Okay, well, we've been charging for 10 minutes now, and the charge has gone up from about 70% to 80% on the car, so it gives you an idea of how quickly the car charges. I'm now going to stop charging. Now while you're charging, the charge ports are all locked, so somebody couldn't come and unplug you while you're having a cup of coffee, and that's a feature of all electric cars. So the charge port's locked. The only way to stop charging is to use your RFID card again to actually stop the charging process. So what we do is a soft button here, soft key called stop charging. You press one of those. It then asks you to hold your card to the reader to authenticate. Please wait, and it's just waiting, and it's going now through the shutdown process, and I can hear the contactors in the charger releasing. It's now saying I can remove the charge cable. At the point we stop charging, then the locks are released, and we should just be able to pull the cable straight out. And I'm a bit fastidious here. A lot of people don't take the care to fold these cables up neatly, and that means they drag on the ground and get muddy, which is not very nice for the next person. So I always try and fold the cable up neatly. Not a great job, but there we go. Cable's folded away, and we can now shut the charge port on the car. Don't forget this, it's a bit like driving along with your petrol cap open. Doesn't do any harm, but probably increases wind drag. And we're ready to go. Another great place to charge are the Ikea stores in the UK. They've done a deal with Ecotricity to provide chargers at all the stores, and in this lakeside store the charger is right next to the entrance of the store. This is a surface car park, this IKEA, rather than a underground car park. So here we are at the Ecotricity charger at IKEA. Prepare the car. Now this type of charger only has CHAdeMO DC and AC Type 2, so we don't have the CCS option, so I only need to uncover the CCS port. Same procedure as before. At the display panel, first thing I do is select the AC option. The charger then asks my authentication. while the database is searching for me and agreeing that I'm entitled to charge. Saying please wait, and here we are. It's asking me to connect the AC charging point. So really just the same as the DC, apart from this is just a single type 2 socket. There are no DC pins on it. Plug the port in, press the acceptance button, and here we see the synchronizing happening, and charging mode is now started, and this is just regular AC 7 kilowatt charging for this car, as it's a single phase car. We've just arrived at Canary Wharf, just past the Barclays building, and we're aiming for the Canada Square car park, which contains a bank of 4 Tesla superchargers right next to where Waitrose is. So let's go into the car park and see if we can find the superchargers. Well, I've just seen that the logo on the entrance to the car park tells me that the Tesla supercharger is on level 2B. So here we are on level 2, looking for Bay B, which I believe is down this end. So we'll drive around the car park a little bit and do a brief overview of Tesla supercharging. I will point out, of course, the Tesla superchargers, although the socket is the same, are not compatible with other cars and the i3. And even if it was, it would probably melt the battery in the i3 and probably the rest of the i3 as well. So I wouldn't recommend trying. My view is actually the Tesla supercharger architecture is actually the best by far. Not only is it higher power than any of the other CHAdeMO or CCS DC charging standards, it's actually far more resilient in its architecture. In other words, the possibility for failure of a supercharger is remote in the extreme. And there we can see on the left there the Tesla superchargers. So we're going to park up and have a closer look at the supercharger. And there's even a Tesla part there, which is not really very surprising. So here we are at the Waitrose car park at Canada Square at Canary Wharf in London. And this is one of the locations where Elon Musk and Tesla have installed superchargers. And as you can see, there are 4 supercharger bays here, and there's even a Tesla Model S here as well. So let's talk a little bit about the Tesla supercharger. Supercharging is a high-powered DC standard that Tesla have developed, and it's currently only suitable for Tesla vehicles. But it's probably the best supercharger technology out there. The chargers work up to 120 kilowatts, so they'll charge the 85 kilowatt battery in a Tesla Model S in about 30 minutes, from about 0 to 50%. So pretty impressive. Now when you look at this supercharger, this bay nicely lit up, and there's a support number on the inside here. And when you look at this, it actually doesn't contain the charging equipment. The charging equipment is situated in another local equipment rack, and the chargers in the supercharger are actually located in that equipment rack and supply banks of chargers. So you see this charger here is labelled 2B, the one next to me is 2A, and therefore those 2 chargers share the same bank of charging equipment. So if somebody's already charging on 2A, it's probably a good idea to avoid 2B. Otherwise you won't get quite the full charging rate. Nevertheless, very nice arrangement here. It's a Type 2 socket, just like on the i3. Don't plug your i3 in it. Even if it did work, it would probably melt the i3. But for a Tesla, it's fantastic. Now, architecturally, the Tesla supercharger is probably the best charging arrangement in the world. The way they're architected means they're very unlikely to fail. Yes, of course, you get failure of the mains power supply to the chargers. And they charge at a much higher rate. So really, have CCS and CHAdeMO got a place in DC charging when you got the superior technology of the Tesla supercharger. I'm hoping that other manufacturers will join Tesla and use the supercharger infrastructure, and the supercharger will become the standard for DC charging. Now, wherever you park your electric car, you should observe the signs in front of the bays. In this case, you can see that parking is limited to 60 minutes. And this is really to ensure that the bay is available for other users quickly. There's only 4 bays here, and if there are 4 Teslas parked up and somebody wanted to charge, they'd have to wait. If someone was parked there all day, clearly that wouldn't be a great thing. Many chargers around London are the same, usually a 3 or 4 hour limit for standard fast chargers, 7 kilowatt chargers. So do observe those signs, and if there's somebody else that needs a charge and you've got enough charge, then let the other person go. Well, we're under the arches here at London Bridge Station, and this is an area of London in SE1 where they used to film all the gangster movies. And we're just about to turn right onto Tooley Street,
now turn
and
right.
Looking for a charging point, a street-side charging point as provided by Source London under the direction of our Mayor Boris Johnson. So let's sit here and see what happens. This estate ahead of us is the More London estate. You've got some quite large companies. In fact, they filmed on More London the impeachment of Tony Blair, which is a rather tongue-in-cheek kind of documentary. And you've got companies like EY have their London headquarters. And apparently there's a charging point very close to us, so we're keeping the eyes peeled. It's not the one we intended to go to, but apparently there is one about here somewhere. But I can't see it. Looks like we've passed it now.
Please keep left in 200 yards.
Well, we're heading now for the charging points that are on street at the Temple, just off the embankment in London. And rather scenic view of Tower Bridge as we drive over. Now, one thing about Tower Bridge is a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, and it's all cameraed up, so if you exceed an average of 20 miles an hour on this bridge, you can expect a present from Suffolk Council or someone through the post. So we're over Tower Bridge now, and on our left we have the Tower of London. So if you fancy having your head cut off, that's the place to go. Well, we just passed underneath Blackfriars Bridge and just joining the embankment. To the left I can see HMS President and is it the EDF London Eye now, I think? It was a British Airways London Eye, it's the EDF London Eye I think now. Sponsorship changed. And according to the speed limit assist on the BMW, it's telling me that I'm on a dual carriageway and therefore the speed limit is 60. Don't think it is, but you never know. They may not have renewed the road traffic order and it may be 60. but I think I'll stick to 30, just in case. So we're coming up to the filter lane here, and we're going to visit a typical Source London on-street charging point at the Temple here in London, one of London's prestigious building sites. There's all sorts of stuff going on here. We're not going to make our way up to the Aldwych, but we'll just carry straight on and round a little half-moon shape of the Temple, and let's hope there's on-street charging point free. Looks quite busy ahead actually, but we'll find out in a minute if there's one. Oh, it looks like there is. So let's pull in here. Oh, the ominous red lights. That's not a good sign. One thing about London on-street charging is it's extremely unreliable. They've changed the contract recently to a new company that's supposed to be sorting all these chargers out. So let's have a look and see if anything's been done to sort these chargers out. Well, here we are at the Temple, and there are actually 3 charging points for Temple. There's one here designed for motorcycles, and 2 more for cars. And this is a pretty typical example of the state of a London charging network. Here we have a charger, nothing on the display, a green light says charging on this side, and some poor so-and-so's charging cable that's left locked into the charger. If we walk round to the other side where there's another socket, it's showing blue. But I've just tried with my Source London card. Here it is. Can I get the charging point to release? No, of course I can't. Hopeless. Let's go to the next one. Oh, here we are. We have a red light. What does it say? Can't see anything on the display. Not a dicky bird. It's a really dim display anyway, so you've got to sort of cup your hands over it. So that one doesn't work. Let's try putting the card on it, see what happens. No, nothing at all. Out of service. 3 kilowatt side here. Red lights again. Out of service. Let's try the next one. Oh, guess what? Red lights again. Anything on display? Oh yes, it says out of service. And on the other side it says maximum charge time. I don't know what that means. There's a telephone number to call here. An 0845 number. They're really expensive to call from your mobile phone. Let's try putting the card on it, see what happens. Sorry, this pod point is already in use. Hey? Hey? In use? I don't know who's using it, it must be invisible. Anyway, pretty good example of what a useless state that we have of chargers here in London. I really don't know why the mayor's bothering with these on-street chargers. About half of them in this condition, and here's 3 altogether. None of them are working. There's another thing I should mention about on-street chargers in London. If you do park your electric car at an on-street charger and you can't charge because it's broken, you'll get a parking ticket. It's particularly bad in Camden. Many other boroughs are poor as well. There is one borough actually it's quite good, and that's Westminster. They're very pro electric cars, and I do find that 95% of their charging points actually work. But don't park here, even with an electric car. You'll get a ticket, then you have to argue it. Straight ahead of us is the Me London Hotel, which was of course the old Marconi house where the very first radio transmissions came from in the 1920s. Well, there's a charging point to our left, but it seems to be occupied with motorcycles and a van, so no chance of parking there. But the one we're looking for is here in Wellington Street, and it's got the blue lights, which is very promising. I'm going to get as far forward as I can, because as you can see, the challenge is that the charging point is completely opposite where the charge port on the car is, so we might be challenged. Well, we're in the heart of Theatreland, just off the Aldwych, and you can see the Lion King there, and we're next to a Boris bike stand, and of course a Source London charge point. So we've parked the i3 in. We've had to contra-park against the flow of the road because the charge port is obviously on the left. But this charge point's got blue lights, so that's a really, really good sign that it's working. Let's hope it is. Well, the first thing we need to do is get the charging lead out of the car. You need a Type 2 charging lead. That's an optional extra on the i3, but we'll press the opening button. So the i3 has a frunk, as they call it in America, a front trunk. In the UK we say boot, so presumably it's a front boot or perhaps a fruit. Anyway, press the button, open the fruit. And here we keep the charging cable. For this type of charger we need a Type 2 charging cable. Now the best process when charging is to start with the charging end. So for this type of charger you need a Source London card. You can see the Source London logo actually on the charger. We have to hold the RFID target up here. See what happens. Let's try again. Ah, success. We can now open the door. We just actually, on this type of charger, have to wait. It's the same standard charge port now, but we want the fast charge, so now we can open the fast charge port. Plug the cable in. At this stage we go to the car charge port, open up the Type 2. I try and keep the charging cables off the ground. They get ever so filthy on the ground. Plug the charging port in. And unfortunately, in the time it's taken to do that, the charge port's reset itself, so let's try again. Well, there seems to be a fault here. It doesn't surprise me. We'll keep trying. Try reconnecting again. Start all over again. Well, it looks like we've got another faulty charging point. All the blue lights, everything to indicate it's working, and yet I'll unplug, cover up the cable socket again, try again. Looks like we've got success again. And no blue flashing light. It looks like we got another failure. Don't know what else you can do really. So I'm an electronics and electrical engineer. I don't know how to use these things properly. They do actually work sometimes, but looks like this one's not going to work. We'll try once again, maybe third time lucky. We have a green arrow. Wait for the fast charge port to open. It's almost a joke, this, isn't it? I'm determined to make this charging system work. Hey, that's promising. We got a flashing light, but we got a flashing blue light. It worked. It worked. I can't believe it. And we've actually got green lights here. Now, I would guess these charging points are all connected via the cellular network to base for authentication of my card. My guess is there's congestion on the cellular network, but the protocol they use is less than perfect. But also the ergonomics of how you use things is terrible. As I say, I'm an electrical engineer. Do you know what? I find them difficult to use, but at least it works, and we're charging. And I think now, time for a cup of coffee. Let's go find a nice Italian coffee shop in Pieterland. Right, returned all coffeed up now, so the procedure for detaching the cable. Firstly, the cable is locked at both ends to prevent theft, so you have to present your Source London card again to release the cable. So once again, release the cable, shut the lid, goes back blue, pull the cable out of the car, and this actually is not a BMW cable, it's a three-phase cable I bought from evconnectors.co.uk, and the idea about this cable was really to buy a three-phase cable, even though it's a bit fatter and a bit more unwieldy, but the plans are also to buy a Tesla Model S, which of course is a three-phase car, and having a spare three-phase cable would be useful for that. So round to the the front boot again, and there's a nice little slot that you can fit these cables into. And one nice thing about this cable, it has got rubber protectors at the end. The fruit or the frunk on these cars is not actually fully waterproof, so having a cable that has the rubber covers over it is really quite a good idea. So there we are, ready to go, all charged up. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed the video and found it informative. I'd be very pleased to answer any questions you might have. Please use the comment box below, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.